going to get picked up by the blue teams, but I've been proven wrong on that matter earlier today. Definitely Gragas ban going out. Definitely really strong champion. As we saw, AoE wave clear. Those explosive casts can do a lot of damage when they timed well. Very time critical champion. You have to use your spells at the right moment and you can have such an impact into the game. So they're banning that out. Respect for the Aatrox.
Well, you have to respect Aatrox. It is Darien's champion.
It is Darien.
And I've said it before, it's a champion that suits Darien so well because it gives him a free death.
If at first you don't succeed, try
at some
again.
point. Yeah, exactly. It does give him a little bit of a support. Leona being taken away, does this mean they want to go for that Annie as their first choice? Elise being taken away, considered the top jungler at the moment. So a lot of standard bans, it's safe to say here, and we're still, like we say, we're unsure. There's the Lulu ban. That's what we were expecting.
The block is open.
But it does mean, as you say, a lot of champions open, but it seems that Sivir is valued as their first pick.
I like that. I like Sivir. I think she's a very strong champion. She's spread out. What the power does from an AD carry gets spread out, even though if he gets focused, that ulti will still be on all your team members and you have just a shared utility from it. Definitely a strong first pick. You see in Korea, a lot of value is put on Sivir.
Pete plays it a lot.
Pete actually never liked playing it, was forced to play it because said Koreans played it a lot. And that actually, I mean, it's strong. It has a little bit of a tricky laning phase. You can break through a Sivir if you know how to play around it. And that has to be respected, and probably Gambit knows how to do that. So let's see if they start like trying to punish that Sivir.
Well, I mean, Genja's pretty much been playing Jinx almost non-stop. That is the champion that I expect Genja will go for. The question is, what would Edward do, and will Diamond get that choice? Evelyn has been a champion he's played a lot of during the European LCS, and actually is a champion that has been banned away from him a lot. There is potentially the Annie. I wondered that with the Leona ban.
Yeah, I think Annie, if we go back to the start of the season right now, that would be the standard pattern, you know, like it was rock, paper, scissors, ban out one, take the favorable out of the two. Yeah. And he has a somewhat favorable matchup against Thresh. Not so much anymore. Interesting to see how he will pick up like, itemization-wise, if he still go to Dorans for the favorable trades, and if he starts Q or W. Key to Annie early laning phase is starting Q and just harassing people out of lane. You said Jinx about Genja. Annie Jinx is strong. We might see Caitlyn though, because Jinx can get stormed once they pop Sivir ulti and they have these like really tanky members on the top lane or in the jungle. There's no way Jinx is going to get out of there.
How would you feel with Lucian? Because that generally is his fallback.
That would be a good champion. It's surprisingly hard to spell shield a Lucian Q.
Right.
Because it's so quick and it's not really 100% sure.
Yeah. It's like a weird timer as well.
Yeah,
like,
I complained a lot when Pete never spell shielded, and then I tried it and I stopped complaining.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Pete does tend to catch a lot of skill shots.
I don't know what
I'm not gonna lie. You're not gonna say.
That's my bad for not zoning
Thresh
out.
and Lee Sin though, they've been locked in. Now Lee Sin up against Diamond. Diamond played Lee Sin last week in the European LCS to great success once again, proving that he is the king ding-a-ling on Lee Sin. But it's going to be for DinTer, and that means, of course, Thresh was picked up. So Thresh Sivir lane, it's a strong lane.
It's a strong lane, but it can get out harassed by a good AD. Like a strong AD carry combined with Annie can out harass it. There's the potential of a lane swap as well. I don't really think Gambit's going to initiate that. They usually settle for normal lanes. I do feel it's very confident going on with the Eve pick when Lee Sin is open. Lee Sin does really well against her. Can spot her in the jungle, can outduel her. Eve has a lot of pressure on the lanes though. If they can avoid getting counter-ganked by Lee Sin, Diamond can put a lot of pressure on all these lanes. Combine that later with Alex's just like roaming playstyle, push out mid and disappear next to an invisible jungler. That might be really good for them.
Well, we do see the Trundle being picked in there, so Darien on the Trundle, and there is, of course, the Lucian.
I think it's a smarter pickup than a Jinx would be. A little less reward, but a lot less risk for me.
So it seems it's going to be Ziggs in that mid lane. We'll see what Alexic chooses to counter it. Could be Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is available, did get nerfed. This is 4.3, has taken a hit in this patch. Wukong alongside him.
What about Zed?
In the top lane, that's going to be a... Is it a top lane Wukong or is it a top lane Lee Sin?
It might be top lane Lee Sin actually. I think it does pretty well against Trundle.
It's Edward
choosing a champion is not going to pick.
We're going to go through a bunch of different champions here.
Let's talk about possibilities that are real for here right now.
Yes.
Okay, I really think Lee Sin is going to go top lane against and try to force out the Trundle with just raw damage and the Wukong in the jungler. I like to see Zed, honestly. I think the Zed Ziggs matchup is really favorable into the Zed. It's Alex's typical style. And we forgot Kassadin is still
Well,
open.
Kassadin is open. It didn't work out
I think they're
so
considering-
successfully for Fnatic earlier on.
You have to remember, if Kassadin gets this far in the drop phase, the other enemy team has to be comfortable playing against this, unless they just forgot that they picked Ziggs into Kassadin.
That's an interesting choice. Froggen will be happy with this one. This is a champion that Froggen has been playing and actually rates it in the top 5 champions. We were asking him earlier, who do you think is the top 5 mid laners? He has Karthus in there personally. Alex has just played it a number of times as well. I'm not sure about it in this team comp, but it works very well. You know, you're going to dive in there with the Cyclone, the Lee Sin has to get physical, has to get in there, and you're diving straight into the Karthus.
I can see that it works because, as you said, people have to go in. I think in the early to mid game, there's a chance that they storm in with Sivir ulti, finish off the Karthus, and run back out. And that's good. That's the way TPA has got to play this. He's got to respect the Karthus zone, drop him, disengage, and then maybe re-engage again. But if you look at later in the game, though, they're gonna scale. Gambit's gonna deal out a ton of damage. If Evelyn ever managed to flank, Evelyn flanks with her ulti, wall pain on top of that, it's done. You have flash tibbers coming. You have so many damage sources on the Gambit team coming in that you have to respect. And at the same time, if the Karthus drops, he's gonna pop his ulti. So it's gonna be really hard for TPA to play this to the mid to late game. Definitely interesting to see how they will play their different compositions. At least in split push might be really good for TPA. Then again, Trundle scales pretty well into the split pushing as well.
Well, Gambit are a team that have been successful here before, and they're certainly going to be looking to try and defend that title. As you said, Achie is in that top lane, and you can see Achie and Darien both took teleport for that top lane. I'm unsure how Darien is going to build this Trundle. If you've not been keeping up with the European LCS, Darien kind of rolls dice on what he's going to build, as does Diamond on Evelyn. We're not too sure which way they could go with those builds. It has been a number of choices. I saw he tried to justify why he picked the Man Immune the other day. Didn't quite sit well with me, I've got to be honest. But it's definitely a champion he's been interested. Well, I'm trying to think when he played Trundle. It must have been a couple of weeks ago. He definitely has played it, but I think he'd be more happy on Trundle, on Aatrox. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The game is about to get underway. This is Group B of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. Azubu Taipei Assassins, the Season 2 World Champions, albeit only one member surviving on the blue team, and they're up against Gambit, who obviously won here at the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice last year as the red team.
So I was going to make a really interesting point that I probably would not see Gambit going for a lane swap because they have a favorable matchup on bottom, and Evelyn just doesn't thrive too well in these lane swaps. Guarantees that she's either top or mid, removes one part of the invisibility aspect, but as I was trying to explain that, they run with 2 people on top, so maybe I'm wrong. They do go for the stun stack on Edward. That means he's not going for early harass. Started Ruby Crystal. He might want to lane swap, start with stun, go for a delayed invade, or do the typical Gambit 2-man invade on the enemy blue buff, while Diamond starts on his blue. Then look for a possible poke dive or just poke push on top lane, and just look for the advantage to get Edwards' early side stone. The Thresh invested in Doran Shield. It's pretty much a given. If he goes into that 2v2 matchup, he has to take the Doran Shield, which means GP10-wise, he's at a disadvantage if Edward goes for like a scaling build. I wonder if they've done their research and if they defend properly against the Gambit invade. And I might be wrong here in the part that Evelyn goes for blue. She might just start on solo red as well, but I believe Edward and Genja are going to harass the blue buff. I'm not sure.
I think there's going to be a late invade. Well, on the moment, Diamond is backing off, so maybe it's not. They're just going to stick with it. So do you think is this simply a case of harassing the Lee Sin rather than going up for that 2v2? Because I think they'll probably be fine with that 2v2 lane matchup.
Now they probably want to get the blue buff contested. And actually, no, not moving in here. We see a counter swap going out from Thresh and Saber. They must have spotted somebody somewhere and that gave away the information that they're swapping. However, Gambit's in a better position. They're defending their red buff right now.
Well, they do manage to come in, and it is a straight invade here. They do get the stun and ignite down on Achie, but Edward's already in trouble. He should be able to get away with this one, unless there's one more lash on him. He does manage to go. No, the flash. Oh, the animation didn't quite go through. Genja has to flash away as well, and you can see TPA, well, they went for that full invade. They did not get the buff. But my god, they nearly got themselves first blood.
You have to remember, guys, this is Lee Sin top lane starting that red buff and trying to sneak it. This is not the jungler. Both junglers started on their buff and they have a good start. Edward and Genja got really chunked defending that buff, and it almost feels like TPA won out here in initially an advantageous position for Gambit.
Well,
however,
do
on
see-
bottom,
Yeah, Achie's going in there, but he's teleported in, and now he's down a level because, of course, Darien was there the whole time. We do see the red buff going across towards Diamond, and Darien stole himself a bit of an advantage in this bottom lane. How do these two stack up, though? I mean, a Lee Sin versus a Trundle. We haven't seen this matchup a great deal, especially in Europe.
and we're almost going to reconsider my opinion of the big lead that TPA had, because Lee Sin needs a lead against Trundle. If Lee Sin gets behind Trundle, I feel he's going to do better the longer the game goes. However, he's pushing, hasn't quite pushed in the wave yet. If Wukong can swing around before this wave goes in and Darien backs off, they might have a chance at fixing it.
He's level 3 versus level 1. He's only just hit level 2, which is I think why we see, of course, DinTer come in town on that Wukong to maybe try and help. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to go for it. So let's take a peek at this top lane, because, of course, the pressure was on, and Edward, of course, blew all the summoner spells to avoid the damage early on. Has given up a lot of first bloods in the European LCS
Less
over the last
recently,
few
though.
weeks.
Less recently, though.
Absolutely.
He does fix that problem. Really like the Eve gang sneaking the lane. He's trying to get behind the Thresh and then just try and punish them. However, Eve is very prone to getting turned on. If they have no idea where the Wukong is, they're going to get really scared at moving out deeper into that lane.
And Wukong is actually, I think, maybe just showed himself down by that ward, which is why they may well feel confident in this one. Their ward placed almost on top of Diamond, which gives his position away. He's going to back away from this one. They give themselves up, which means Gambit, well, they're keeping that pressure on. They have got themselves a CS advantage. Mid lane, though, Alex Itch in trouble. He gets blown by that satchel charge. The Ignite is running. He should be able to get the kill here, and the Ignite will not finish off. Morning using that flash to avoid the damage from the final passive of Alex Itch, and first blood goes to a TPA.
So this like early game aggression and invade and whatnot allowed mid lane to basically be alone, and they sensed Evelyn on top, so they just knew that the mid lane was 100% alone. Then both teams knew where the respective junglers were, and Zig just completely outplayed Alex Itch. They're 1v1, and that's pretty impressive.
Dominant play by TPA early on in the game. Second Doran's ring being picked up by Alex Itch along with the boots. You talked about the early start, of course. This is the patch 4.3. Where do you stand on the current support? Because I know you've been running Morgana, which we actually haven't seen any of so far with that Spell Thief's Edge, but obviously the Ruby Crystal, it tends to be the almost default start now. We're seeing it's kind of a mix between that and the Doran Shield.
Spell Thieves is really strong when it comes to harass, but if you take a bad trade, you're going to end up really poorly. Investing in an early Sightstone, if you play really well with Vision, is definitely a good choice. Especially, you have to remember, Gambit did not expect to lane 2v2. Hook comes out, dodged by Genja, and we're going into a pause here, it seems.
Well, it is a pause, and I think it's on Gambit's side, actually. Not too sure who is actually paused it. Oh no, it is TPA. TPA waving at the referee, so we do see them refs straight in there. You may recognize them from the European LCS. They are the ESL refs, but they are also present all around Europe.
Alright, this gives me the time to finish my story about Sightstone. Basically, yeah, Gambit expects a 2v1. Why not take the best scaling goal potential in the game, which is Sightstone? The second you finish that, you can get three wards, each worth a lot of gold, saves you way more than you can stack up in the early game with any other item, and it allows you to build coin on Annie as well. You probably don't want to build the Spell Thieves into much more of an upgrade. You want to go Sightstone into Talisman, which is a pretty good build, and I think that's smart by Edward. However, somehow TPA got wind or predicted a lane swap, and they counter swap, and that puts them at a little bit of a, I wouldn't say disadvantage, but at a missed opportunity almost. However, they're outscaling the Doran Shield. They look about even CS. We can check it here on our monitors. So they're definitely, the gap they had in top lane is being fixed. I don't know what the status is like bottom. I think he got a base earlier. Darien actually was trying to base, but then got cancelled, and it looks like he's still sitting on his Doran Shield, while Lee Sin has shopped already. So all in all, the gold is pretty even, barring the first blood gold, which is exactly what the difference is, 400 gold right now, and that's the first blood gold on Zig.
So it looks like we're going to be seeing probably a team out start for the Lee Sin. I'm guessing Trundle's probably going to go the same way. Where do you see this one going between these two? Because obviously Lee Sin, a lot of people argue that he just doesn't scale that well into late game.
He's really deceptive. Our top laner, Inox, plays him quite a fair bit as well. And it's really deceptive how quickly he can regenerate. It's pretty insane. When he finishes the Hydra, he'll just go all in, get some tower damage in, gets put to 20%. You think you almost have him, but he just ward dashes out or Qs out to a minion. And then one minion wave is all it takes. He just pops his Hydra, his shield, gets a spell vamp, and just goes to town on that wave, and suddenly he's 100% HP again. And he's so very, very quick and speedy, and it's really hard for you to catch him. So he's definitely going to be a nuisance against Gambit's team.
And you got to wonder, with that Trundle pick, where's he going to steal the stats from? There's not really a tanky member. I guess Wukong's probably going to be the tank.
Yeah, I think it's pretty smart picking into the Trundle, as you said, a good point on the stats, because you build a lot of HP maybe, a lot of lifesteal, not necessarily resistances. However, if people don't build a lot of stats, then yeah, well, Achie is gonna say, well, thank you for that, and just pop them with his ulti later in the game.
Yeah.
I really feared the scaling aspect of this game. I feel Gambit's Cardus Eve is gonna be really hard to deal with. At the same time though, if Gambit falls behind, Trundle doesn't get really rolling. They don't have a tank either, and they just can get zerged. You know, Sivir pops her ulti. You have Thresh with a hook, with a flay, whatever. A satchel put you out of position. Wukong catches two of you, knock up and die, and just instantly disengage from the Cardus. That's why I like Sivir a lot into Cardus, because you can run in, pop him, and run out. And TPA has been doing well in their region, which indicates that they should be able to recognize these differences in team comps and team fight accordingly.
And in their region, you know, I guess we can talk about the fact that AHQ also in there, one of the top teams, do not always take it too seriously in the league. Whereas actually, if you look at TPA, they have took it seriously this time. Last year, probably not. Maybe that's why they didn't even make it to the 2013 finals. But this year, they seem to be taking it a lot seriously. Of course, it's a newer, hungrier Taipei Assassins here. This is a lot of teams. Bebe was in the mid lane for a while, but they picked up Morning, suddenly realizing we need a better mid laner. He's moved back to that AD carry role, which was his own. And I guess, you know, a lot of the Western world viewers probably haven't seen a great deal of the Taipei Assassins.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen too much from them either. I mean, I've been stuck playing my own games and then occasionally looking over to the Asian leagues. But
well, you've got a lot to focus on right now in North America.
There's quite a few problems we can fix in the meanwhile, rather than start watching all the leagues. And then why not watch the Korean league?
Absolutely.
Following Monte Cristo's advice, start at the top and work your way down, right?
Well, we'll see how the KT Bullets do, of course, at this event, the Korean standards. They did win the 2013. It was, of course, Zubu Blaze back then who won it up against Frost. It was Frost and Blaze both in now. So the pause is about to be resumed. It was a small communication problem for the teams. Both teams had the same issue, it seems, so they are back underway right now. So we'll see how this one develops.
So yeah, Gambit actually had his wave pushed into their tower on top lane. They kind of pushed it back. Eddie is not quite sitting on upgrade goal for Sidestone. He doesn't really want to base yet. He wants to wait until he gets that. He sends Genja home though, which means if Azuba's lane wants to push in, Eddie will pick that gold up on the tower or freeze the lane, and then Genja comes back with more items. This is what they used to do a lot in different games, and I think it's a good call for them.
And how do we what do we make of this mid lane? Because Alex is taking a bit of harass here from Morning on Ziggs. And Ziggs obviously has the range, obviously has the poke, and those bombs seem to be landing quite a lot on Alex right now. Yeah,
he's under pressure, but at the same time, his CS is pretty much tied right now. He did give up a kill. They're fighting each other bottom, but without jungle pressure, I don't see anybody really dying until the Lee Sin hits level 6. Lee Sin level 6 can have a surprising amount of damage.
Well, at the moment, we do see the top lane, and we see the pressure on them. You can see Darien, he's backing off quite safe on his own turret. DinTer was taking a look towards that top lane. You can see they put the pink in the tri-bush, and mid lane, Diamonds is looking at having a peek here, but Alex Itch himself, he's off doing the wolves.
I mean, that's the power of Eve, by the way. That's the reason they didn't dive that top lane, because they have no idea where the jungler is. And it's so hard to spot him, but they're going in and Genja.
Yeah, Diamond just putting some pressure on towards Morning. And you can see, didn't really get too worried about that one in that top lane. Bebe and Jay are continuing to keep pressure on. And this is a problem, I feel, for Gambit, because when Genja falls behind, he tends to go incredibly passive and will just sit there. Oh, Alex Itch closed in on that mid lane.
Very clutch flash. He had to. Had to respect the ward dash into Q from Lee Sin. Even if he doesn't know if he's going to hit or not, you have to respect it, because if you're a millisecond too late, Lee Sin will follow you on the tower and your flash is down and you're dead. Good play. But especially a lot of pressure coming out of Eve, even if he's not really doing much with the pressure though. Gambit isn't really getting anything done.
Yeah, and you can see Diamond hasn't got that ultimate yet, so he can't really go all in on Morning. Morning himself is level 7. You can see he's gained himself quite an advantage over Alex, who's having to back once again.
Yeah, looking back at the laning phase where Diamond was posturing at top lane and was a bit too scared to go, I feel that's a mistake Gambit made there. They should have either been farming or capitalized on that presence. Because right now, mid lane, they're losing it. I don't think they should have been losing a mid lane when they get the counter pick.
Oh, Jay getting caught out. Genja going slightly aggressive on him, forcing him out of the lane. Edward holding that stun. Has yet to hit level 6 and hit level 4. Meanwhile, we just see down the bottom, Darien really taking a lot of pressure. And we talked about how the different builds were going in. It seems that Darien is going to head towards that Tiamat build as well, starting out with the pickaxe this time instead. He may well go different. We'll see how it goes. May go play the Rune King.
Well, TPA's top laner deserves a lot of praise. He came back to lane being 10 CS down, and now he's pressuring the Eternal out after roaming mid and forcing Alex's flash. He's putting a lot of pressure on this Gambit team, and in turn, Ziggs will be able to capitalize on that.
Oh, the death sentence lands on Edward. They go in on that. They put the flay down, but the stun turns back around towards Bebe. That's a good turnaround, though. Teleport coming in. There's the Carter's ultimate. That's going to get Bebe down. Edward tried to steal that one. He's going to go down. Achie does manage to land that kick and follows through. That's going to leave the bottom lane open for Darien, but that's a kill for the top laner.
This will draw even to top, which means he can't defend mid, and this is good for TPA because Alex is doing that ulti. He's standing still while he casts it, and he gets forced out. They're going on Genja right now.
Oh, a flash dead sentence not going to land down, nor is the flay going to go in. Diamond's going to turn this one back around. They're going towards Jay. They're going to put the pressure down. Genja getting kicked away by Achie.
Really well played by Achie there. He just slows Genja, Diamond pokes down enough to save his support, and then just follow him with the dash and get out of the turret there. Really good pressure play by TPA. He's going back in on Genja.
Oh, Genja taking so much damage. He's got to be careful here. He is absolutely stagnant, and we see DinTer's making a move for this one. He fancies the kill. He's coming straight up towards there. Edward is going to get back in time, and well, Genja is making a move, and he's just going to back well away from this one.
But look at the pressure they're putting. Even if Diamond is there, the mid lane is exposed. Ziggs is sieging right now. He's putting pressure. Wukong shows up top. Lee Sin has so much sustain that he can just draw people repetitively up to the top lane. This is like the fourth member that has shown up there in a very short time span, and this leaves the other lanes to be pressured. Because look at the bottom. Sivir is split pushing on their own. We've all forgot about their AD carry, and she's getting fed in what used to be a disadvantageous matchup, and she's just farming, putting pressure, and TPA is just being really smart. Okay, Gambit, you want to react to our pressure and you put 3 members top? Fine, I'll play you mid. Oh, what is that? Bottom's empty, let's just go there. I'll just overextend top a little more, draw some more people out, and then just disengage when we have to. And they're playing the map, and really, really well played by TPA.
And Bebe, all on his own, has just come down and taken that bottom turret, the first turret of the game, and now Darien finds himself in a 2v1 situation. Pillar of Ice goes down, but that's on the hunt being popped by Bebe. They're going to continue chasing, but Diamond is coming around the side, just past the ward. Not too sure whether he got spotted. He definitely did now, because he's starting off on that white. But look at the mid lane. Morning has been doing a number on Alex, and as you said, every time pressure's being drawn somewhere else, it's Alex that's losing out to Morning.
Yeah, Diamond wants to help bottom, but at the same time he's getting out pressured mid. And you have to remember, this is Alex each counter-picking this Ziggs with Cardis, and it's not working. Imagine in this game, if there was a Zed pushing the Ziggs, if Gambit had the lead in mid lane, the scale meters for the pressure would just be completely different, and Alex is just not on top of his game right now.
He is taking every single bounce in bomb, and if that Mega Inferno bomb was up, he would have been dead where he stood. As it is, it's going to be the Dragon going down to Taipei Assassins, and they are really putting pressure. That's going to stretch the goal to 3,000 already just 10 minutes into this game.
I really don't think Gambit is playing too poorly, but I'm just very impressed by the way TPA is handling these situations. They're giving the right answer to every problem they presented, and they're playing very solid, and it shows why they're ahead in their region, and not to be underestimated just because they play in a not so popular region.
Yeah, and Morning really has done a fantastic job. You can see 30 CS advantage over Alexic. Of course, Alex will eventually scale, but the fact that the Ziggs, if he gets going early on, he can be a problem. Then Mega Inferno bombs can have some distance, and they can turn all these lanes. And looking at the top lane, you can see a lot of pressure on there. If Wukong to go up there along with Achie, along with that Mega Inferno bomb, they could get kills.
I wonder if TPA is like on purposely ignoring the pressure from Eve and say, well, she can only gank one lane at a time, pressure all 3 lanes at once. Or if they just have such a good game read on where Diamond has to go and has to be, because Ziggs is constantly pushing up mid, but never ever seems to be able to get caught, because while he's pushing up with so much pressure, he's basically chunking Alex to half HP, putting that risk of getting 2v1.
Well, they're playing it right as well. They're putting deep wards at the farm, so they don't need to use the pink wards to spot him out. They can see him when he's taking out the farm, so they know roughly where he is. And the wards, there was a couple of deep wards in the top lane. You can see deep wards in the bottom lane as well. So they're making good use of their vision to keep hold of Diamond. As it is in the mid lane, Diamond's making a move, trying to get around the backside of Morning, but again, they know exactly where they are. They've just pinged on top of him, and they just back away.
Yeah, definitely good game reads, and DinTer right here is counter ganking. That's what a Wukong wants to do. And if you ever play against a Wukong, don't expect him to gank, expect him to counter gank. They want to overextend right here, get caught between, trying to fake getting caught, and then the Wukong comes in for the ulti. He's backing off because Gambit's not buying it. They know it's too easy. They haven't seen Wukong in a long time. He has to be counter ganking. But then again, this puts pressure. Is Wukong gone or not? Because they have so much deep wards, they know for a fact that Gambit hasn't warded back. Right now we see Ziggs going for blue buff. This might be an indication that Wukong is still around top.
Well, blue buff will go across to Alexic. We did see the bottom lane of TPA heading up there, but They're a little bit too late on that one. They're going to ward it out nevertheless, and they're going to find themselves Darien exposed in the bottom lane, which is where Jay is heading. But look at this, Morning. They're trying to separate on towards him. They really want to make ganks, and Diamond is trying to make an impact on this game, but he's been struggling out so far.
Right now, Morning wants to push up, puts aggressive ward, keep Alex there, but they're turning on him.
Now they're going to go in towards him, but again, Satchel charges, bounces him away, and takes Alex so low already. Diamond coming in, get close. DinTer comes in. He's going to get the Mega Inferno Cyclone. He's down, and that was an easy counter by Taipei Assassins.
Yeah, DinTer didn't even need to flash there, but he did it to secure the kill. And they're just going to siege up, forcing Alex Ish. And then meanwhile, their two-man bottom lane is going to force the push onto Darien. If they can't get this tower, which I think they will, they'll just rotate down the bottom anyways.
Well, the Wall of Pain landing on towards Morning. They're going to keep that pressure on. Laywaists are going in there. If they had a little bit of support, which is looking like maybe going to get from Darien, but instead Darien himself is struggling down his bottom lane. There's the Death Sentence hooking on. On the hunt goes down. Satchel Charge bounces him back in. A beautiful play by Taipei Assassins. They're taking the bottom turret.
And not only do they get this bottom turret, and it's a flashy play, but you have to look at the beauty of this rotation. They push out mid, rotate to bottom, which cancels Eddie's roam from top. Eddie wants to help them. He says, okay, my guys are in trouble in mid. I can walk there. By the time he reaches middle, they're no longer middle, but they're bottom already. They get a kill and a tower, and they're just out-rotating Gambit. And Gambit's playing the reactive game, but they're just playing it, which is the reactive game. It's one step after everything happens, and TPA is just constantly outsmarting them, rotating quicker, and they have a 5,000 gold lead already.
Well, Edward himself, we wanted this lane phase to go much longer. He's got that sightseeing, and he's also gone for the Spell Thief's Edge, but
not sure if I agree on that.
Not much use now, because the lane phase is effectively over.
Aside from pushing towers, it still gives you 10 plus 80 damage whenever you push a tower, but not worth it. And Darien's...
This is the Darien problem that we've seen so many times. He's gonna get hooked out. He's gonna get killed out here. It's a case of who will get it. It's Achie that takes it down, and it's now 5-1 in kills. And you can see Darien 0-2.
And this is why Darien often comes back in these games, because he pushes out these lanes immediately and farms back up, trying to put pressure. But TPA just won't have it. Aggressive wards, they know exactly when he's coming. They kill him on bottom. At the same time, they have to react on bottom. Who's top? Ziggs. That's a mid laner in the top lane. They don't care about conventional roles, you know. They say, screw it, my AD carry goes bottom, my AP carry goes top, and my top laner goes ganking on a rotate bottom. They don't care, they just want the right people in the right place at the right time. Something CLG has been doing a lot better in the NA scene of late as well, and it's just very impressive how they're getting kills and objectives and deep wards without overextending and having such a good game read on an invisible jungler.
And honestly, all the research sort of led to this should be a fairly easy game for Gambit, but as it turns out, they are half Gambit's number so far. Morning, Satchel Charge gets him away. Requiem may get the kill. He's going to try and turn this one back around. No, does not go down. Instead, DinTer comes in. Cyclone running. It's actually Morning that picks up the kill as well. Tibbers goes down on towards Achie, but the damage is not there to follow up. And TPA just gets away again. They have themselves a 6,000 gold lead, and they have Gambit's number so far.
Well, Gambit doesn't really lose out too much here. The mental strain that puts onto you. When you finally catch somebody, you hesitate going in, and then you turn on you and kill Edward right there.
Edward caught out. Is the Ignite going to be enough to take down Achie? He's got nothing to safeguard on. He's going to teleport away and survive. We do see, just off on the side here, Darien comes in. He finds himself DinTer, but doesn't fancy the 2v1. Now he's running in for it. Now he thinks he can take it. He's going to get the pillar of ice down. He's going to try and turn it. Achie could come in. Does manage to go for it.
They tried to fake the decoy.
Didn't work out. And again, it's another turret. TPA, every time they go aggressive, they get themselves an advantage. Alex Hitch going aggressive this time on towards Achie. Can they get out? No! The culling completely missing and whiffing on them.
Here
Teleport comes in. Achie follows in there. Lands on towards Alex Hitch. Comes in. The kick comes out. And that's just going to get followed up by Jay. And now Diamond, he's having to run away. It is all going so wrong for Gambit.
Damn, TPA is reading Gambit like a book right here. Every time they escape with a sliver of health, and that crawls into your head. If you're Gambit right now, and you're behind and you think you finally got him, like, you finally got a pick, let's go back into this game. No, 10%, he's out. Oh, he ends up killing me with a bomb. Next guy, 20%. Oh, I found them basing, they made a mistake. Nope, they didn't, they get out. And you're just constantly trying to catch them. When you do finally catch them, Lee Sin teleports in, kicks your Cardis out. He's not within kill range. His ulti's down, and another kill. And you're slowly losing control of this game, and by this time, you're 7,000 gold down, almost 8,000. And what are you gonna do to crawl back into this game?
What are they gonna do? That's a big $1 million question, I think you could say. They're not too sure themselves, and talked about the fact they may be able to get revenge on TPA, but not looking likely so far. TPA are in a strong commanding position, and this is the problem, because nobody was really sure how the Garena Premier League was, the level of it. And this is like we talked about, how they were underestimated when they came into the Season 2 World Championships. Again, it seems slightly underestimated, and they have got the picks they wanted, it seems, and it's working so well for them so far.
This may have just been a misunderstanding of the mid matchup, because I feel that tilted a lot of the factors. Because what I've been explaining about TPA is doing, Gambit could have easily done that if they had the upper hand in mid, because that controlled the game, because it forced people to react. If your mid is pushing, your jungle will go mid. You know the enemy jungle won't be there. With a counter pick, Alex, he should have probably had the advantage there.
He's caught out, he's kicked, Alexic going down, he's going to try and take Morning with him, but he's simply doing no damage to him. Requiem is available, but why use it? Because you're not going to get anything out of it.
And yeah, basically TPA is choking the life out of Gambit. They're playing conservative when they have to, they're playing aggressive when they can. They still have to be careful. I mean, every game can be lost still. But I really like what they're doing in terms of vision control, in terms of pushing up. They're not tunnel visioning on Baron just yet, even though they have such a big lead, they don't care. They're finishing on working their way through all the outer turrets, and not simply by grouping up on them. No, they split and they try to divide the attention.
And this is now 19 minutes in. An inhibitor tower push by the Taipei Assassins going in towards it. Genja and Edward are there to defend this one, but 5 members of TPA coming round, and you talk about the pressure that Morning put onto them. It makes me cast my mind back to the likes of Toys when he absolutely dominated everybody. It wasn't just the Alexic in sort of trouble. It was the likes of it was Rapid Star in the mid lane for CJ Frost.
As well.
He did dominate Froggen, unfortunately. But as it stands, TPA are looking so strong in game 1. Diamond is going to try and find on towards DinTer, but DinTer quickly uses that clone and gets himself out of the danger.
Well, I wouldn't say dominate Froggen, I say went toe-to-toe with Froggen. His team was holding him back. Anyways.
He didn't hear you, you're alright.
Yeah, that's fine. Standing there. Great. We're fine. Anyways, even though like right now, this would lead up into, most teams would go into a 5-man push, but we saw TPA just doing a little bit of a split push. Sivir can reach the other side really quick with her ultimate on the hunt, and at the same time Ziggs can toss a bomb over to the other side. So while this is seemingly a split push, if they go for that again, they can just switch lanes really quick. Eve's doing the right thing right now. Evelyn has to flank. There's no other way Gambit's ever going to win this game, but TPA seems ready for it. Or are they?
Well, we'll see. Diamond is now in a position to go for Bebe and Jay, but everybody else is backing away. They're trying to chase on towards him, but TPA read that one again. They seemingly are one step ahead of Gambit every step of the way. They're going to go for Darien. Is this what he wants, though? You can see the culling coming around. They may well finally get some kills. Mega Inferno bombs. Good timbers from Edward. Diamond comes around the backside. Requiem's going to come out there. Cyclone only landing on Edward. Darien having to run away. They simply do not have the damage. Of course, that Requiem blown. It is a double kill for Morning. Eddie, Darien, and Diamond going down. Oh, the flash this time around. Not going to work out. Alexic does survive, but again, it's another 2-for-1 for TPA.
I think he ran out of energy real quick because he dropped the ward, tried to get behind Alex. He just didn't quite pull that off, but look, immediately after taking the advantage, they capitalize, go for the tower, and they go for Genja.
Genja dead, caught out, great explosive cast once again, explosive cast, explosive
Satchel.
Satchel, that's the one I want.
It explodes.
Yeah, I don't want to go down the Deficio route on that one. It was just the Satchel. Oh, Eddie going again, going aggressive, but there's no follow-up.
I feel Gambit played this fight as probably as good as they could given their situation they were in. TPA went for a catch. A bit more than they could chew, really. But just the fact that Ziggs is so incredibly fed already, they just turned it around. But it was a really good start for Gambit. If this would have happened with any less of a gold lead, let's say maybe 3,000 or 4,000, Gambit could have come back. It's just unfortunate for them they were this far behind already.
Yeah, it's not working out for them, and European fans' hopes are dwindling because Taipei Assassins once again have turned up looking strong. Of course, following this game is Cloud9 versus WE. That's going to be a huge game, and of course the North American hope will be relying on that one. We'll see how they turn up, but as it is, TPA are looking good for this group.
It's still early to draw conclusions, though. Whenever Gambit goes down a map, though, in one of these Intel Extreme Masters events, they come back even harder.
Darien well out of position and just completely annihilated by Bebe. And you talk about that, they went 2-2 last year here in Katowice. They actually lost the game to Curse as well, but they came back so much stronger in the second day. managed to come through the semi-finals and finally grand style, taking down Frost and Blaze on the way.
Yeah, I've underestimated Gambit a few times throughout my entire career, broadcasting and play.
It's not gone well.
No, don't do that. Just give them, if they lose this game, so be it. Gambit bounces back really well. They have a lot of mental agility. They have a lot of knowledge. They boot camp. Should have maybe made a few mistakes, but they'll learn from them. And tomorrow they'll have some scouting information on their opponents, and they might do better.
Diamond ready to flank again. Bebe taking a couple of tower hits.
Down as well.
Edward fancied that. He's got flash tippers available. We do see Genja now making a move around the backside. They're going to close in from every angle, but is it the right move when the inhibitor turret already has...
Is going down.
Oh, nicely caught out on towards in there. Genja is doing the damage on the backside, dodges out of that one. Doesn't miss the death sentence. There's going to be a Tibbers catching up. Achie's so low, but he kicks Genja away from this one. Requiem is not available though, and it's a triple kill for Morning. Has been finally taken down by Genja. Can they get DinTer down? DinTer taken low. Jay comes in, gets the play on towards him, but Genja, the last remaining hope, is taken down. It's the 8th for TPA, and this could be a very quick game. They're going to punch through towards the Nexus turrets and take the victory.
Now this is a fight where Gambit did everything right. Flying by their AD carry, flying by their jungler, killing the enemy AD carry immediately, but then there's 6. He just launches his bomb, everybody collapses and trying to kill him, triple kill, and then they just close out. Gambit was just too far behind right here to win that fight, but they played it perfectly, and this indicates that they have a really solid understanding of the way their composition has to be played. Sadly enough, their early game was like too detrimental to their mid game.
Look at that difference in the mid lane. 5,000 gold advantage Morning has over Achie. That is a gigantic step between the two. And we've seen Kha'Zix working well a few times, but as of late, it just seems when he's paired against the likes of Ziggs, he just gets outscaled or just simply can't keep up, because once they get that early game, and this is what TPA have done, they've taken the early game so well and just rotated it and kept the pressure going. We obviously saw the likes of Millennium earlier on getting that early game and just taking the foot off the gas. IG as well. IG did exactly the same thing against KTP. But TPA really have kept it going.
A very solid play. Really, what won this game was not one particular fight. Maybe it could have been a contributor to the first spot they got in mid lane, but it was the rotations. Once you get an advantage, is how you exploit that one, and that's very impressive what TPA brought here to the table today. And look at that. He misses 3 bombs in a row, but ends up hitting one more, and then suddenly Alex is 20% HP.
Mega Inferno bomb being thrown out like candy because the reset cooldown is so short. Baron is a potential. Of course, there is only one Nexus turret standing. The inhibitor has respawned on the bottom lane for Gambit, so they do have a small respite, but you see the Baron being started off by TPA.
Not a big fan of this play.
Oh my god, Edward, don't move. He's been taken down. It's another kill. It's a 10-1-3 Morning on Ziggs. Fantastic play by that mid laner.
Very slow Baron. It's kind of 50-50. Diamond could technically show up. I guess with the Ziggs being this fed, it's definitely a good play, but I would have liked more of a vision clear, although Diamond has a hard time coming in.
Yeah, Diamond, I don't think he's going to be able to get in there. He has been completely zoned out. Nobody else really getting in there. Goes aggressive on Morning. This is just a simple play that needs to be done. They are going to get the kill on Morning, but that's about all it's going to be. Darien goes down. They're going to catch on towards it and just collapse onto Gambit, and now just 2 members, Achie and Edward, to stop TPA storming their base.
Yeah, a lot of good efforts from Gambit, good ideas, but they just don't work as well as they would on an equal amount of gold. So I definitely like seeing, even though when Gambit is down, they have the right idea how to play. Their composition is just, at this point, it's almost futile. I don't see any move they can make, barring a huge throw by TPA, that would get them back into the game, so to say. They've shown elements of great play, though. They've shown what they need to do against this composition is just far too little too late.
Well, this is going to be TPA pushing in towards the final inhibitor turret. That goes down. Inhibitor will follow. Middle one will be respawning shortly. Bottom one is up. And that's all they want to take for now. And Gambit are forced to face a wave of super minions coming into their base.
What's left to say here, really? I think TPA is just going to slowly push him down. However, I've been wrong before. I thought Millennium was going to take it.
I don't think TPA are quite going to go that route. Are they going to have to do some momentous errors in their gameplay, which as of yet do not seem to be materializing? Achie 5-0-9 on Lee Sin. Bebe moving in on towards Darien. Darien in trouble. He is going to get away. Jay was there, and Jay on Thresh. You know, these are a number of champions that have been #1 picks in the Korean scene and seemingly in the Southeast Asian scene.
I just want to point out how well Morning is doing. It's 28 minutes into the game. He has a Void Staff, Ramson's Death Cap, Athene's Holy Grail, and Azonia's Hourglass at this point in the game. And he probably has sitting on a lot of gold as well because he hasn't chopped for a while. He's just basically being the key factor why TPA won this game. Although all of the team members did their job, they rotated the right amount of turrets. I don't know if they do that instinctively or if there's a shot caller. If there is one guy calling all the shots for TPA, then he's definitely the victor of this game.
He's definitely the MVP so far, that's for sure. Diamond just keeping them away from that last inhibitor. Middle one is going to go down though. They're going to pay the price for that one. Having to leave it free. So 2 inhibitors down, just the bottom one to go. And as you say, TPA are just moving in. I don't think Gambit can do anything to defend this one. They're going to try one last fight on the Nexus turrets, but that's all they can do. Diamond caught out with the hook. Cyclone goes straight through. They're going to follow through on towards this one. Genja trying to put the damage down, but as you see, they are just too strong. That Baron buff still on them. The hook on Genja, that's going to get followed through. They're going to straight on towards it. A great play on towards him. It's a double kill for Morning. Can he make it a triple? Alex each caught out on the fountain. That's going to be a double for Bebe. That's going to be the game. The Taipei Assassins take down Gambit in quick style, 28 minutes into the game. What a first game performance by TPA.
Yeah, very impressive. I think we've highlighted everything what's happened already because it happened on so many different occasions. They fell behind in mid. I feel like I'm repeating myself endlessly. Sorry if I am, but just clean cut rotations. Well, I mean, clean mechanical play. Bounce back from an early deficit. Invaded. Let's go back to all the way level 1. Invaded that buff. Achie basically on his own made sure that Gambit's bottom lane, who ended up being top, was behind on lane, giving Sivir the time to scale to the game, teleported back to bottom lane, ended up winning it anyways, out pressuring, went roaming mid, blowing Alexish's flash. So versatile, so quick, so nimble, had a few key teleports coming out as well, so he played well. DinTer was counter ganking at every moment, or ready to, in case if it was needed. Morning, I think we've covered that one.
Well, I mean, Morning, 13-2-5 at the end there. I think he ended with, what, 15,500 gold, 5,500 gold ahead of Alex Ich.
And then to finish the list, Bebe, really solid, was where he needed to be, popped on the hunts, positioned rather well in teamfights. The only time he really got caught out is when he got flanked by the AD carry and the jungler. And then, yeah, Morning cleaned up that fight. And then their support J, just, yeah, solid thresh play, not much more to say.
Yeah, fantastic performance overall, and TPA, an easy victory.